Can you tell me the story? It was like you and Rob and Charlie. The three kind of, you made this sort of like proof of concept tape for this show?
We had been shooting things together for a little while, just experimenting with stuff, just shooting things on our own camera. And then Rob came to me one day with a scene. He was like, I had this idea. I wanted to try to make a scene about cancer funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you have my attention. And so he sort of told me about the scene, and he handed me like this little script. And he was like, I want you and Charlie to act in this scene together. So I was like, yeah, that'd be fun. Again, just for fun. We shot the scene. We had such a blast doing it that we built sort of a whole story around it, in which Rob's character would join in with it, and and that's where the Sweet D character came from, and all that. But it was more of like just a short film, and we literally just doing it for fun. Just to show our friends, like, we think this is funny.
Yeah.
We'll shoot this stupid thing because what else we're doing? We had all kinds of time on our hands. None of us had families or responsibilities at the time. And so we were like, let's just be fun. So we did it. And then we realized, like, this is really funny, but it's not good enough. So we scrapped it and we shot it again. And then we had so much fun doing that we were like, you know what? This doesn't feel like a short film. It feels like a TV show. It feels like a TV show. Let's shoot a second episode, So we shot a second episode of it.
But out of your own pocket, just for fun, like using.
Yeah. When I say shot it on our own, I mean open the blinds, turn on a lamp, put a mic on a broomstick, literally.
Yeah.
Which is what we did.
Yeah.
And all of our friends be camera operators and boom operators. And that's what we did. And then we had a friend who knew how to edit on Final Cut. He would come over to my house. I'd give him cookies, and he would cut the show together on Final Cut. That man's name is Josh Driscoll, and he is still one of our editors to this day.
Wow.
Josh was just doing us a favor. He was doing it for cookies. He was a professional editor already at the time, but he was a friend of ours, and we knew him, and he was just doing it to help us out. And he was like, oh, yeah, this is funny. He thought it was funny. And then we showed it to our manager. The way we knew each other, one of the reasons we knew each other is we all were represented by the same company, 3 Arts Entertainment. We showed it to them. They thought it was funny. And the rest is history.
Why do you think the show has lasted? I mean, I think it's the longest running live action comedy ever.
In American television history, certainly. There may be longer ones in other countries, but yeah.
Why do you think it's lasted that long? Big question. A big question, I know, but...
I think that people are desperate, especially now more than ever, always, but desperate now more than ever for satire.
Yeah.
To see the unspeakable portrayed on screen in a way that's good-natured, coming from people that are actually good people, that are actually satirizing it in a way where you understand that they're not condoning the behavior, they're just satirizing it. And I think there's a large segment of the population who is not being served now because we're so afraid to say and do the wrong thing for fear of getting canceled or whatever. And so there are a few shows that have survived that can still do that. South Park being one of them. It's Always Sunny being one of them. You probably have some here that I'm not aware of. But
it feels like a big exhale whenever I watch it. That's what it feels like. It feels like, you're right, it's satire. It's often like, sometimes I'll see the main title come up, like, about what the episode's going to be about. Because for people who don't know the show, it's like, the gang does something. It usually summarizes the plot really quickly off the top.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just this big exhale of like, what is about to happen?
Mm-hmm.
What is about to happen?
I think it's a little bit of wish fulfillment. I think you want to see people acting badly because but it only works if we've done our job right as writers. That bad behavior is coming from an impulse that a lot of people share, that our audience shares. They're like, ooh, I've wanted to do that before, but I would never because I'm not a bad person.
Yeah.
But you get to watch other people do it on TV.
Yeah.
You get the wish fulfillment of watching them do the bad thing, the awful thing. But then you also get reminded at the end of why you don't do that, because there's consequences.
Yeah.
And it's ultimately not the right thing to do, but you still get the catharsis of watching somebody else do it. And I think people are really desperate for it. I think it's a release. I think, like you said,
Yeah, it's a big exhale.
it's a big exhale. We need to be able to portray awful people doing awful things. You know, Charlie said an interesting thing. He's like, God, if we get to a point in our society where we can't have bad characters doing bad things,
Yeah.
we're screwed.